Welcome back, children. In our last class, we have studied about simple diffusion. Now, we are going to study about osmosis. We have a lots of terms that we must understand in this chapter, because without understanding the terms we can't be able to understand the whole lesson. And the term that is mentioned over here are the basic process by which the transportation of water, mineral and also the food products take place. Understood? So the second number topic is osmosis. What is osmosis? Osmosis is the process in which the solvent, pure solvent means water. Pure solvent means water, yes. So the movement of water molecules, pure solvent or water, the movement of water molecules from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. Higher concentration to lower concentration. What does it move? Pure solvent means water moves from their higher concentration to their lower concentration when the solution is separated by semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. Do you know what is called the semi-permeable membrane? Semi-permeable membrane is nothing but the cell membrane. So if two things are separated by cell membrane, if two solutions are separated by cell membrane, the water moves from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. Just see this figure. In this figure you can easily see that there are two kinds of solution. This is higher concentration because you can see so many particles of solute are there, and this is lower concentration because very less amount of solute can be seen over here. So what happens? And in both the solution is separated by a membrane called semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane, or you can simply say cell membrane. There are so many good examples of cell membrane also, or semi-permeable membrane also. Okay, so you can say God's bladder and many more examples are related to semi-permeable membrane. You are thinking that how cell membrane is arranged like this, but there are so many synthetic as well as natural semi-permeable membrane are found, just like goat's bladder. Also the you can say some synthetic plastic like semi-permeable membrane is also made. So these are all the things. So the two solutions are separated by semi-permeable membrane. Now observe which one is higher concentration. This one is higher concentration because there is a lots of solute particle can be found in this solution, and in this solution very less amount of solute particles are found, so it is lower concentration. So in case if it is lower concentration because the solute is less, it means water is more over here, means the water content is more here, means water is present in higher concentration with respect to water is present in lower concentration in this solution. So you can say later what happens? The water move from their higher concentration to their lower concentration until both the solution concentration of the solution become same. The water move from higher concentration to lower concentration until both the concentration become same. So let's study the definition. The movement of molecules from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. The movement of water molecules from their higher concentration to their lower concentration through cell membrane or semi-permeable membrane. So I think you understood. How does it happen? You are thinking how osmosis can help in transport. Just I am showing you. Suppose this is a plant. This is a root hair of a plant. So root hair, outside the root hair, the outer wall is cell membrane, and just beneath the cell membrane there is a cell wall. Outer membrane is cell wall. Just beneath the cell wall there is a cell membrane. The second membrane is cell membrane. Yes. The water move from outside to inside because you know the root hair has less amount of water. So salt is more in the root hair, means root hair has high concentration of solute and low concentration of water, while the water present in higher concentration in outside. So water from outside move inside the root hair. Once again I am repeating to make you understand. See, this is the root hair. In outside, the concentration of water is more with respect to the concentration of water inside the root hair. So water from outside move inside through a semi-permeable membrane. This is the semi-permeable membrane, that is cell membrane. So it is the process by which water move from soil into the root hair. Understood? So later, the active transport. It is one of the most important force which help to transport the water through the xylem column or xylem vessels. Let's study. What happened? You know that water has easily entered into the root hair by osmosis, and there is no any need of energy, while the concentration of salt is more in root hair. The concentration of salt is more, that is higher concentration, and from outside the concentration of salt is very less. So salt can't be able to go inside. In that case, cell membrane utilizing energy and trap the salt, that is minerals, from soil and move it inside the root hair. Once again I am repeating, make you understand. In case of water easily move inside because the concentration of water is more over here. So water automatically move inside the root hair without any input of energy, without any use of energy. But what will happen with the mineral? Mineral will not come because mineral is less concentrated over here with respect to the mineral concentration of the root hair. So in that case, the cell membrane use energy to trap this mineral and bring back it into the root hair. So the mineral are you can say the mineral are catched, or the mineral are transported, or the mineral are bring into the root hair with the help of energy utilized by the cell membrane, and it is just opposite to the osmosis. That's why it is called active transport. Let's study. Active transport is the passage of the substance, that is ion, from their lower concentration. Means outside in the soil, the mineral, that is ion, present in low concentration, to their higher concentration, that is in root, using energy from the cell through cell membrane. Understood? So the cell membrane utilize energy to bring the mineral from soil into the root hair. So this is called active transport. This creates a difference in the concentration of ion between the root and the soil. So there is a difference you can easily see outside and inside of the root hair. outside the concentration is low with respect to the inside. So in that case, when active transfer will be taken place, by utilizing energy, the ion is transported into the root hair. Understood? Water is therefore actively drawn into the root hair to eliminate the difference. If the concentration of the root hair due to salt will increase, the salt has come from outside and it increased the salt means ions or mineral. When come inside again with the help of utilizing energy, the concentration again increase. In that case, water will move automatically inside the root. Very simple example just I am giving you. You will understand all the things. Very easy. Suppose you have using a chocolate or toffee in your mouth. Okay. Or you are not using a toffee or chocolate. You have opened a toffee or chocolate, open the wrapper, and you kept the toffee or chocolate on the tabletop, on the table. What will happen? After some time, you will see it have dissolved, and the sugar from the toffee is melted and get stick into the surface of the table. What does it mean? Means the toffee that is kept on the table has been dissolved. It absorbs the water from the environment and get dissolved for some time. Means water moves from their higher concentration to their lower concentration because there is a less water in the toffee. That's why it has been opened. The same thing happens in case of root hair. If the root hair has higher concentration of salt, automatically water from outside move inside into the root hair, and this process is called osmosis. I think understood. Okay, let's have another topic. First of all, see the process. How root pressure help in the transport of water. See, this is the soil, and the soil has its outer surface with water. The root hair absorbs the water, and from cell to cell it goes to the xylem column, and when it goes to the xylem column, from xylem it moves to the leaves, and in leaves the water and mineral are utilized, and after that it convert into food. So this is a very simple process, and this process has been mentioned how the water move from one cell to another cell. The water move from one cell to another cell by the process of osmosis, and the capillary movement means the xylem vessel are so thin that it automatically transfer the water due to capillarity. Means capillarity means due to having thin xylem, the water automatically move inside. Just I am giving a very simple example. If I given you a bottle of Pepsi and I have given you a straw, and you kept the straw into the Pepsi bottle, the level of the Pepsi is just like this, but if you see the level of Pepsi inside the straw, it is just above, slightly above to the level of the Pepsi. Have you understood? So capillarity, inside the capillarity the pressure is less, and due to the less pressure the water move automatically. This is called capillarity. So capillarity also help in the transport of water and mineral. Let's study the next topic, that is root pressure. Suppose, just see this figure once again so that I make you understand about this. This is the root hair. It is absorbing the water and mineral and all, and from one cell to another cell the water is moving very fast. So the pressure that is exerted to one cell to another cell, which helped in the movement of water by one cell to another cell, in another cell to another cell, this pressure is called root pressure. Let's study. Root pressure is the pressure developed in the root hair due to continued inward movement of the water through cell to cell osmosis. One cell is getting the water from somewhere, and this cell give to another cell, and this cell again give to another cell. So as the water is moving outside, this cell again create a pressure to have water from outside. So the pressure that is exerted on the each and every cell to pull the water from another cell, it exerts the pressure to pull the water from this cell. Let's see, there are, I am just drawing 4 cells. Suppose this is the root hair. Root hair absorb and give the water to this cell. As this cell get the water, automatically this cell exert a pressure to draw the water from this cell, and it drawn the water. When it drawn the water, again a pressure exerted over here to draw the water from the root. So it draw, and again this water is go to the another cell, this water is go to the another cell. So all adjoining cell is absorbing the water and create a pressure, always absorbing the water, the pull the water from outside. Understood? So this pressure exerted on the root hair is called the root pressure, to pull the water continuously. So let's see, the pressure in the root pressure is the pressure developed in the root hair due to continued inward movement of the water through cell to cell osmosis, which help in the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap means upward movement of water and mineral. Upward movement from root to leaves. Upward movement of water and mineral is called ascent of sap. So the root pressure is very important. I think so many times when you go in the early morning walk, you have seen that so many grasses have small droplets on its leaves. Have you ever thought how these leaves have the small droplets of water on its surface? This is due to continued root pressure. As you know, during daytime, stomata opens, but at night it closed. At that time, water is absorbed due to continued root pressure, and although all the stomata remain closed, the water cannot able to get outside. Then what did it do? What do it do? Or what does it do? The water automatically move from the corners of the vein. These are the vein. From the corners of the vein, as the continued root pressure is there, the water is remain absorbed whole night, and this water is automatically goes to the leaves. Due to remain closed stomata, the water move through the outlet present at the corner of the leaves, and it remain in the droplet form. Understood? That's why you have seen so many times the water droplets on the surface of the leaves during early morning. Understood? I have already mentioned here, there is a steady movement of water into the root xylem, creating a column of water that is steadily pushed up. Due to root pressure, the water is pushed up. However, this pressure is itself unlikely to be enough to move. Although this pressure is not so enough to move the water up till the leaves in the big plant or big trees, it can always helpful for in case of small plant like grasses and all. Thus, plant use another strategies to move water in the xylem upward to the highest. So there must be some other forces required for movement of the water from root to the leaves. I think you understood. So what is passive transport? You have already studied about the active transport, and you have seen that in active transport, energy is utilized to draw the mineral from outside, from soil into the root hair. But In the same process, you have seen water automatically moving. It does not require any kind of energy for its movement. So, if the movement of any particle take place without the input of any energy, then it is called active transport. Have understood? This is the process in just opposite to active transport. In this process, diffusion of particle take place without the input of energy. I think understood. Then what is transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water in form of water vapor. It is the loss of water. I think you know these things. In the morning or in the day, during the day, the stomata remain open, and at that time water move outside in form of water vapor through stomata throughout the day. So evaporative loss or loss of water in form of water vapor through the leaves during the day is called transpiration. As the water move out, it always exert a pressure on the adjoining cells to draw the water from lower side. So the pressure that exert on the cell to draw the water from the xylem column, because the water of the leaves has been evaporated, it create a pressure on the xylem column to draw the water. So this pressure is called transpiration pull. So what is transpiration pull? The water which is lost through the stomata is replaced by water from the xylem vessels of the xylem of leaves. The evaporation of water molecule from the cell of the leaves create a suction force. Suction force means drawing water from lower to upper side, which pull the water from xylem cell of the root, and this pull is called transpiration pull. I think you understood this thing. I have something for some figure for you. Just see. You can see it is the root hair. Yeah, the root hair. You can see there is a pink color. Through root hair you can see there is a lots of water and mineral is absorbed. By which pressure water and mineral absorbed? Active transport, osmosis. Are you understanding? So these are the two main processes. Also passive transport. And root pressure is exerting the pressure to draw the water continuously. Understood? All the terms are making you clear. So osmosis, diffusion of water, all forces are applied over here, and root pressure also, which draw the water and make a column through xylem, which move the water and mineral through xylem column. See, there is another force as not required, that's I not taught you. Cohesive and adhesive force is also important, which help to draw the water through xylem column. Now as the water is moving upward, it reaches to the leaves, and when it reaches to the leaves, some water is only 1% of water is utilized for photosynthesis. Later on 99% of water is transpirated out. You see, water is transpirated. As the water is transpirated, another pressure is exerted on the xylem to draw more water so that it can continue the process, and again the water comes, again it transpirated out, again the water. So a continuous pressure is exerted on the xylem to draw water from root. For today class, that much. We will later on. Okay, one more thing is there. State the function of transpiration. So there are two main functions of transpiration. Transpiration helps in the absorption of water and mineral and its upward movement, and it also helps in the temperature regulation, because in the hot summer days when the leaves transpirate out, it gives a cooling effect to the plant. Understood? As just same as we sweat, our sweating is also same like that. Understood? So that much for today. Later on we will study another topic. For today, bye bye.